And for India to try and say that we are going to host the Olympics in 2036, yeah, but you look at how you're treating your wrestlers. Why should someone give you an Olympic game when your wrestlers are saying these things? You know, on what basis are you saying that just because you can build stadiums? That's not what sport is about. Sport is about the athletes.
Who is one of the few sports journalists in the country who writes what she wants. Sharda Ugra.
So politics has always been there in the BCCI. Politics, politicians.
But it's been very bipartisan, right?
Yes.
In the sense
absolutely.
that har koi mil baat ke
Hum aam mein sab mange hai type of thing.
And there's Congress, there's BJP,
everybody's there. Across parties.
Now it's become very BJP.
Every time you were trying to create some kind of, independent examination of how the thing run, whether it's a national sports bill or whatever it is, the politicians on both sides of the aisle just shut it down and said, no, we don't need it. We don't need to follow this, we don't need to follow that, and we are a private body, and we are not under jurisdiction and all the rest of it. So that it was like that. The cricket team has almost become, or they were trying to make the Indian cricket team an engine of a particular hyper-nationalistic brand, macho super brand of their political ideology. In cricket, what has happened, I was trying to think why doesn't it happen in English football that English footballers are not afraid of saying what they feel like? Because they won't be charged with cases, they won't have ED raids on them. So that's as the number one sport in a country, football is the number one sport in Britain. They can speak their mind against government policies, and they personally won't be affected. Other than say sponsors will cancel on, which is fine. It's not great, but you're not going to have your house raided. You're not going to have. This is the fear now of EDIT kind of a thing.
I work with a team of feminists,
yes.
And
large
team of feminists. There's people like Dhanya, Pooja, and all of that. And often I've been schooled into understanding the point that the question of gender is not just about assault on women or abuse of women. It's far more structural. It plays out in subtler ways.
They invisibilize you first, that your concerns are invisibilized. By giving lots of money to the women's team, by setting a WPL, very nice. But what's happening about these girls that are getting harassed and abused by coaches? So what are you doing? You're taking the women away from the game. So wrestling communities and all that, they don't want young girls to wrestle anymore because they think, we don't want them to go and be working with coaches like this. If the officials are like this, then what are we going to do? We're going for this event. We need to have 3-4 sets of uniforms for them to have, because they can't be wearing the same. They can't wear 2 t-shirts or whatever. And he was told with Gali given, with Delhi Gali, imagine a Delhi Gali to preface the sentence, that who spends so much money on women's sport? On women? Does anyone spend so much money on the women? So and this is like a few months ago.
He's almost like a metaphor in Dalit circles when we talk about the comparison between a Kambli and a Sachin. Right? The fact that he was left-handed adds like a little,
too much symbolism.
Too much symbolism in that. Right? Yeah. And in the end of the day, what is it that took away the game from him? Right? What took the game away from him? It was this so-called behavior thing. And then the question comes therefore as to what is acceptable behavior, because if you look at this post-diversified period of Indian cricket, you had all these bad boys emerging.
Really.
Right? And that really changed the nature of the game.
Yes.
So did Kambli come a little ahead? Who knows if Kambli had come in the 2000s,
and if he was
a bad boy.
Because
Sachin's entire thing was every parent is saying, be like him. Be this good boy who doesn't speak.
Doesn't speak. That's a bouncer. No, that's a Yorker.
When has he ever spoken on something significant? Despite being in the Rajya Sabha.
Oh, please.